Hi everybody, welcome back. We're back in the shop again today working on the Nemesis. My name's Tim from Workshop 12 and today we're going to do a little bit more fabrication. So one of the things that we're doing with the vehicle, because the transmission is behind me and it's a small cabin, we need a way to be able to shift gears. And there's not a lot of room to be able to get an 8 shifter beside me, so I'm going with a paddle shifting option. Now, paddle shifting in that I'm still going to have to use the clutch for being able to shift, but I want something that's actually going to shift the gears for behind me. So what I went out and got was this unit from MasterShift. So the way that it works is that we've got a couple of connections in the top here that basically run the controls. We've got our harness here to any of the inputs that are coming into it for our shifting up and shifting down, and then essentially shift cables coming into the 2 holes here. So one that's handling the back and forth of the gear shift, and the other one that's dealing with the horizontal capabilities of the gear shift. So the idea is I need to mount this somewhere on the vehicle that I can get those cables back. Now, I'll likely use the same cables that are out of the Factory 5 818 kit that they use for the 6-speed and 5-speed transmission for theirs, and run them into here. So essentially the Subaru transmission is not a cable-driven transmission. So there's a bracket that I've purchased from Factory 5 that allows you to be able to basically put your horizontal and vertical cables on there and then being able to drive them from just a cable-driven gear shift. But instead, we'll be using this unit to automate the upshift and downshift that I'm able to program it in there for the distance of the throw and everything along those lines. To be able to get those shifts. So I'll still have to use my clutch, but I'll be able to do a shift and up and shift down based off the paddle shifters. So goal is to start to fabricate a little box or mounting that I can get on and off the side of the vehicle. It's going to sit probably in front of my radiators on the side, and then duplicate the thing on the other side just to keep the car symmetrical. So I need to create some kind of mounting box there that I can take off, and something that I'm going to be able to cover in aluminum and protect from any kind of elements and the weather. So that's the goal today. So we'll take a look at the location of where I'm planning on putting this on the car. Alright, so the goal here is to mount this essentially right on the side by the gas tank here. So we've got this bar that's going to protect any kind of electronics or side impact going into the gas tank, but I need to create essentially a fabrication of a box of some sort where I can put these 2 cables coming out of the side going back to the transmission, but then being able to essentially enclose this and seal this in, but being able to bolt it on and off of the vehicle at the same time. So hopefully doing a little bit of something with an angle here too, just so that it's not a flat surface against any kind of wind, being able to help bring any kind of air back into the radiators on the side, but essentially trying to fabricate something there, giving access to the plugs on the top so I can run wiring into the vehicle. But that's generally what I'm trying to be able to create in here and give enough clearance to be able to plug this in and then still be able to rope any of the electronics into the car. So it'll be interesting creating a little box in here. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it yet, but that's the goal. Okay, so that has got our base frame on the side here. So created a box around, did a welded in nut on each corner, exposed those out as some tabs, and then boxed it in with some essentially right angle steel. So that gives us the base frame. So now I can actually weld in more of the actual supports that's actually going to hold the box in place. So that's the next step. Well, that was a whole lot of fiddling. So everything is set here with the frame on the back holding it in place. There's 4 mounting points for the box on the back, and so the angle iron actually provides some support for where that sits along the bottom there and there, kind of along the bottom here and along the front. As you can see, trying to get the box to sit in this weird oblong shape that's going to be on the side of the car. It's just kind of an abstract shape that's on there, modifying, you know, I guess kind of going along with the body lines, so things kind of twist and turn in there. So the box is in there. We've got our connector on the front, a serial port for doing any kind of programming, and then everything just slides in the front here. So this whole frame comes off the car and then can be bolted on in the four corners to hold everything. So the cables to the shifter come in the back here, two holes. So I'm going to have to grind out the two different areas there just to give clearance for the cables to come in. And then overall, the whole box itself will be covered in a fiberglass cover, and the screws or the mounting bolts are going to go straight through the fiberglass and through the metal and into the threaded inserts in the back of the shifter box. So this, when programmed, should give me my H pattern shifting for one cable for left, right, and another one for back and forth, and we will have these shifters in the car. So what I got left to do is just to do the finish welding here and then drill out those holes in the back for the mounting points. And there we have it. We have everything secured on the side. Got a little bit of an angle here just so it's not a just a flat surface in the wind coming across the side of the car. Everything's bolted on into its four corners. And then this will all be covered in fiberglass. You can see we've got the fasteners on here now holding on the unit. And then everything comes out the back here for the cables that will then go back to the transmission for shifting. So overall, worked out pretty well. Just need to create a cover for that once I'm creating the body panels. Looks not too bad there. It'll be hidden underneath pretty much all of the body panels anyways, but now I just need to replicate one of those on the other side of the vehicle. The other side doesn't have the shifter box in it, but I will be tucking in things like the ECU and a few other pieces of electronics in on that other side. So that way I've got a mirror image on both sides of the vehicle. And after that's on there, next up is really putting in the radiators. I needed to have these on the side first, just to make sure where my space was going to be for setting up my radiators on the side, which are sitting in those white boxes over there. So that is pretty much everything I wanted to get done for putting on those the side panel for the shifter box. One more thing done, although I do need to repeat it on the other side, but it should be a lot less work because I don't have to create that intricacy for holding the box in place. So I just can kind of copy the outer measurements of the box and transfer that onto the other side. So thanks again for watching. If you like the video, please subscribe to the channel, and we'll be bringing you lots more content.